it's not the busiest news day. Obviously, we have the fallout from the January transfer window, which we didn't do anything in anyway other than loan out a couple young lads and Jaden Dans. The news broke yesterday about his loan to Sunderland, and that's kind of delayed due to a back issue they found in his medical. So hopefully there's nothing too serious with Jaden, because I think we all appreciate the talent that he is and what he could become for the club. So hopefully that gets sorted. I did watch Sunderland on Monday night because they played Borough. It looked like he'd fit in. They kind of played really nice football. The forward, who I can't remember the name of, looked very good. So hopefully for someone, a Jaden, to play with. So yeah, that should be hopefully a good move for him. But yeah, Sunderland look like a good team, so it might be tough to get into the team. But if he does, he might benefit from them being good at that level. But as I say, it's not really the biggest news day. Arnie Slot's had his press conference, and Dave Davis will do his post-conference presser, I should say, later on, I presume. But we'll have a look at some of the quotes and not go through all of it, because that'd be kind of taking Dave's show. But yeah, Arnie Slot talked about VAR and something he didn't like about VAR. I think he was talking about announcing decisions and how that would pressurise the referee in even more so with the home fans. And I kind of get his point that, I mean, we've seen it in the past. We've heard referees talk about it in certain podcast situations and when they've retired, etc., and talking about, oh, we get pressurised by the fans, and you just subliminally or subconsciously rather favour them or whatever. Maybe favour's the wrong word, but you do get pressurised into it. And I think, yeah, I can see the argument for it, but the way VAR's been done in this country, like, I'm not a match-going fan, really, because, well, the job is to do stuff post-match. Obviously, I try to get to the odd few, but when people talk about VAR, one of the constant complaints has been the lack of information for match-going fans, and it's just, yeah, maybe it does add pressure to the referee if the home fans get onto him, but if the entire stadium's going to be sat there oblivious to what's actually happened till they can check their phone and watch that and look at that awful Premier League referee centre or whatever the Twitter account's called, it's kind of, you got to take the good and bad with it. So I do think announcing decisions is the right way to go, to be fair, because yeah, fans do get oblivious, and then you kind of hear it in the atmosphere sometimes. It's just like a stunned silence of what the hell actually happened. What else did he talk about? He talked about squad sizes in England, and how in the Champions League we can take, well, basically everyone in the squad. I get it. Obviously, as Liverpool fans, we're obviously going to want the big squad because, well, it'd be nice to take extra youngsters. What we saw in the last game, we didn't take Chiesa and Joe Gomez to Bournemouth, did we? And it's a tough decision because, well, Joe's a really good, excellent, versatile defender, and Chiesa, every time he's played since he came back into the side consistently, he has made an impact, whether from the bench or starting. But with the squad options we have, these decisions are going to have to be made every game. Now, I mean, if we just look at it biasly as Liverpool fans, be like, yeah, get everyone on the bench. But you look at some squads in England and you think, Ipswich wouldn't benefit from it. Southampton wouldn't benefit from it. Basically anyone below, well, the league's a bit of a mess, isn't it, at the minute in terms of positions, but like anyone below the top four, anyone below the Champions League clubs and the Europa clubs is not really going to benefit from it. Like, there's obviously Chelsea, for example, who have a massive squad. I know they're in the Conference League, but that doesn't really matter. Their squad would be massive. They could literally bring like 100 people. It's something that I'd like because I don't want anyone missing out on the squad. But at the same time, it makes it fairer. It does make it fair, and unfortunately, some people do have to miss out. And I think Slot actually mentioned it'll probably be a harder decision to get people on the bench than the starting 11, and you'll have to disappoint someone who's not going to be able to play in the semi-final, which is a shame. It is a shame, but needs must. That's top end football in England. It's just how it is. I mean, what does he say? Everywhere around the world, in Europe as well, when we play in the Champions League, we can take 23 players. And we can take 20. I think 23 would just be too much. Be too much. I think it would just favour the big teams. It would just favour the big teams. What else have we got here? That's the one I just talked about with VAR. Arnie Slutz explained the demands for Liverpool's revolving number 9 options. I should have mentioned this is all from This Is Anfield, as usual. He talks about, well, I think he discovered, what's the word he discovered? Facilitator, that's the word he got told in the press conference today. We've obviously, we were long used to our number 9 not being the main man with Bobby, which ended up kind of making him the main man. As the facilitator, which helped Sadio and Mo become what they are, and obviously Mo's gone on without Bobby and taken his games to new levels at times. And he talks about how they all bring something a bit unique, but they do need to all score goals and facilitate. And yeah, it's right. I think that's what every team wants, really. Nobody just wants a lad who just stands there. Well, maybe Man City kind of do. But nobody just wants a lad who will just stand there in the box being hopeless, and his only job is to put the ball in the back of the net, which is the most important thing in football. But you look at the way we play, for instance, like a lot of our play goes through Mo Salah, but if Mo Salah has 3 people marking him, we need the flexibility to be able to pass it central. I mean, in recent games, like, was it the Champions League? I think it was the Lille game where Darwin. I think it was the Lille game, and it was Darwin playing centrally, and it just afforded Salah so much more space that we don't really get to see as much when Diaz plays up front. Maybe less so with Jota, but Jota's obviously injured quite a bit. So I think they do all bring different things. Like, I think the left wing is more. It depends, because Diaz we can just give the ball to and see what happens. Gakpo, you can do that. I think less so, and you kind of want him more in higher areas on the end of stuff. And Mo just kind of depends if we can get him in space or not, because, well, he's used to playing against 3 defenders at times, but it is tough. He is a human being. But I think the number 9, considering the form of Cody and Mo especially, if they can create space for the 2 wingers, I think that's probably the most important thing. Obviously, we'd love all our forwards to get 20 goals a season, and I don't have the numbers in front. I know Darwin is not really close to that, and Diaz has been a bit patchy in form, in goal scoring form. But as long as they're doing their job and creating space for the 2 wide lads, it's not the biggest thing for me. Obviously, you want the goals, but yeah, as long as 2 of them are scoring, it doesn't really matter. And the thing is, we have the 2 starting wingers. Then we have Jota, who's almost guaranteed goals. Then we have Diaz, who's maybe not guaranteed goals, but guaranteed impact, especially more so when he's on the left, I'd say. And Darwin, he's guaranteed something. It's probably guaranteed impact as well, but whether it's good or bad impact, it may depend. But we have impactful players who will bring something to the game. It's just whether they score or assist or create space or whatever. But they are all performing. There's a reason we're top in both. Well, we won the Champions League group phase or whatever the hell we called it, and we're top of the Champions League, top of the Premier League, top of the Premier League, I should say. And we're in a cup semi-final. Albeit we lost the first leg, so be it. We should recover it on Thursday, hopefully. But let's have a look at what Arnie Slot actually said. I will be happy if that player becomes both. He was talking about goal scorer and facilitator there. Facilitator, nice word. I didn't know that one yet. And scoring goals himself, that is again what we want to achieve in the end. But I also saw the penalty at Bournemouth from Cody, where Lucho played a part without touching the ball. He dragged the centre-back out, which led to Cody being 1v1, and he made a deep run and got tripped. So yeah, exactly. Creating space, impacting the game. That's all we need. That's the baseline we need, and then the goals is what we need extra. So yeah, I think we've got good options up front. I think we'd probably all like Jota to be fit more. Whether that's possible or not, it is obviously a long asked question now. So it might be something we need to look at it in the summer, but by all accounts, the summer's going to be very busy. So that means we'll probably sign like 2 people. But yeah, it's an interesting one, and I don't think there's clearly a first choice number 9. Well, maybe Jota when he's fit, but as we say, he comes back for 2 games and disappears again. Yeah, so number 9 position is probably one of the ones that's up for debate. Another one that's up for debate, or certainly is for Arnie Slot, is the goalkeeping position for this game. He talked about whether Alisson or Kelleher will play. He says he knows, but he won't tell us yet, obviously. I'm guessing it'll be Alisson. Alisson played the first leg, unless I'm misremembering Kelleher being injured back then, but I don't see why Kelleher'd play was he on the bench? He was on the bench, so I'd guess it'd just be Alisson playing. Not too much of a debate, but I mean, ahead of Thursday's game, I mean, the team, I'd guess we'll go first choice, considering we got Plymouth on Sunday, I think it is, and you'd imagine a fully rotated side there. So I'd guess Alisson, Bradley with Trent's injury, Ibu, Van Dijk, one of the left backs. That just seems to be a flip of a coin. McAllister, Gravenberch, and then, I mean, Jones came on and made an impact, but I'd guess Dom. I think the way he'd be able to run off Spurs' midfield would be better use. I think Jones played the first one. Yeah. Mind it was like a month and a half ago now, wasn't it? So it doesn't really matter. I'd say Szoboszlai 10 for me. Gakpo left wing. Salah right wing, obviously. And up front, I mean, if Jota's fit, I'd play Jota. If not, Spurs leave enough space anyway, so do we need Diaz to create space? It might be a Darwin game. I'd be happy with any of them. I'd prefer Jota out the free, because, well, I think he's the best by quite a distance, but I'd probably say Darwin, then Diaz in this particular game. But yeah, it should be an interesting game.